This is the BBC Home Service. You are listening to Time Ram, a recorded comedy programme starring Rupert Booth, Paul Ferry and Barry Williams. This week, the chaps will be discussing the actor William Hartnell, recently seen as Gaylord Parker in the Warner Brothers production Flying Fortress, as he tackles the role of the time-travelling Doctor Who in the television production The Empty Child. Please excuse me one moment. Hello?
Are you my mummy?
I beg your pardon?
Please let me in, Mummy. I'm scared of the bombs. Mummy?
I'm so sorry, ladies and gentlemen. We seem to have experienced a technical issue. Please enjoy a short piece of music while we sort things out. Excellent bottom. Yes, listener, I'm talking to you, because if you listen to Time Ram, and you are listening to Time Ram, then you should all understand that not only are we the Doctor Who podcast that randomly selects a mismatched Doctor and story and mashes them together to form something new and exciting, but we also promote the positive body image. I'm Paul Ferry, and the bodies that I'm positive are here with me this evening are Rupert Booth.
Yes, I am here. I'm here.
And Barry Williams.
I also am here.
Yes, how are we this evening, chaps?
I'm sitting on my excellent bottom.
Yes.
I'm still recovering from excellent bottom.
Did you get some treatment for that?
No, we should all be envious as Rupert. You've been in Port Merion all week, so
Yes.
I have. I was in Port Merion last week filming a completely independent sort of sequel thing to The Prisoner for fun, basically. And it was the first time I had a chance to do that for a long time. And it did me good in the soul, though it didn't do me good in the calves, because Port Merion's really hilly, and filming, you're going up and downhill a lot to get things and check on the progress of rover inflation. We had a pump to inflate rover. That was great.
Yeah.
There were a couple of times, but rover, and it was a good pump, but it was a slow pump. And so there was this kind of chorus line of people out the back of the cottage inflating rover, and you'd pop back every now and then, or pop out for a fag, and it's someone different. It's like the Doctor, pop out, there's a new one. There's a new rover inflated there, hello.
Yeah.
Which incarnation are you? But it was great. It was really nice seeing people.
We should explain to listeners that because you've been doing this film, this is why you kind of sound like George Harrison on Dark Horse.
Yeah.
This evening.
Yeah, I haven't been filming for a while, and a lot of it was standing on the beach shouting and screaming a lot when I got attacked by a rover, and then screaming more when I got beaten up by Tina. This is The Prisoner. The protagonist screams a lot. They just get injured a lot and hurt a bit. So that happens in The Prisoner. It's not a happy series. They're not your friends in the village. But yeah,
nice village. No.
And of course the weather kind of went from the extremes of absolute pissing rain. That's when I was down in the grass being attacked by a rover, because of course that's the pissing rain.
Yeah.
And boiling sun, which of course was out on the beach, wasn't it? So yeah, typical filming basically.
Go ahead, Time Ram.
So this episode, we're back in the era of the first Dr. William Hartnell, who will be starring in the Christopher Eccleston classic, The Empty Child stroke The Doctor Dances. These classic and modern era mashups don't always work. Do we think this one will?
I think it
Early days.
could. I think it can, but it's going to need a lot of surgery.
Yeah, I think it can, because I think if you take off the sort of veneer of postmodern-ishness, I think there's quite a solid sort of Doctor Who, old style Doctor Who story at the centre of it. Yeah.
My question is, are we going to have to come up with another 4 or 5 episode titles, though? Because we've only got 2 so far.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Yes.
We haven't really bothered with episode titles before when we did.
But we're going to today because it'll
We're
be
going to put in
fun.
that extra effort.
It'll be that extra effort. So I suppose the first thing we have to do is decide who, as in companions, and where's it, which story is it replacing?
I'm thinking quite early on.
I thought early.
I was
thought
thinking
season 1.
I was thinking actually the chase slot, simply because it introduces a new companion, as in, well, obviously in the original script it's Captain Jack, but we've got Stephen Taylor there waiting to join the TARDIS crew. So
that's true. That's logical.
Yeah,
that's logical.
Yeah. I should at this point, although it won't crop up until sort of later in the story, or very late in the story, but I should suggest my idea that I had,
Oh, yeah,
which would affect a problem we've had in Time Ram, which is that these early stories, sometimes we're having to have the Doctor using the TARDIS properly, which he couldn't do back then. And it suddenly struck me when I was watching this, when it got to the end, and you've got the sort of spoilers, by the way, got the nanogenes kind of repairing people. I was thinking, the TARDIS is organic. What if the nanogenes repair the TARDIS? And after this point, the Doctor can pilot it everywhere.
So we should put this as story 2, replacing obviously.
I just thought it was a good way around that, which is a problem we've had a lot for the early stories.
Where did we have Attack of the Heart? It was kind of early season 2, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, you both of you speak wisdom.
Yeah.
Baz speaks wisdom that fire cannot live in men. And Paul speaks wisdom that we die without fire.
Yeah.
I haven't got any. Maybe I should just plumb for season 3 then, just to be a twat. Because I don't know you, but I have no strong feelings. My gut says season 1 for some reason as well, Paul. I don't know why. Susan just seems to fit it.
Could put it in the Reign of Terror slot. It could be the
it depends. I think it depends. Are we actually, but the point about, I think we did joke about Stephen Taylor being the new the old Captain Jack, didn't we? Which could be frankly hilarious.
Yeah.
if we set that style for Stephen from then on.
He's got to keep recurring then, hasn't he?
the meddling monk gets meddled with in return, for a start. And as for Galaxy 4, Jesus, he's just going to faint. Ladies, it's going to be straight off like that. Which I would enjoy that, but I'm open. I think ultimately my gut says season 1, my logic says season 2, and the cheers. But we could toss a coin.
Let's toss a coin.
We did that before, didn't we?
Yeah,
I haven't got one handy.
None of us do, because we're all contactless. It's 21st century. Yeah.
I got 5p's, which they're not the best tossing coins.
It has only one side or the other. So what should we say then?
Heads for 1, tails for 3.
2.
Go for it.
Heads for 1, tails for 2.
Go for it.
Oh God, I've dropped it on the floor. I'll find it.
These are the best moments in audio, aren't they?
It is tails.
Is that 2? All right.
That's 2.
2.
So
okay.
that's 2.
Right.
We've tossed a coin and decided that it's season 2, and we're gonna replace the chase.
Replace the chase.
Replace the chase.
So straight away, the excellent Stephen Moffat script is going to be hobbled by Richard Martin. Let's put that out there.
Yeah. Well, Stephen Moffat's done well writing this script at the age of 4.
He has. The lads, yeah, absolutely.
Got talent.
He has. Let's see what Andrew Smith manages though. I mean,
Yeah.
might actually be an embryo, might actually be still in the womb when he writes Full Circle.
Oh, please be quiet.
The story as it stands opens with a mauve alert.
And there's cardboard things beyond sticks going through the time vortex. Loving it already. Loving this.
Yeah. So the TARDIS is chasing a capsule through time and space over the Earth.
Slowly.
Yeah, of course. I'm not sure if they'd even do that in Hartnell. It doesn't seem a very high opening. They'd perhaps be having a bit of an argument in the TARDIS, maybe.
It's what they did in the chase.
I suppose.
I suppose in the opening, the capsule may be going on, but they're all crowded around the time-space visualizer watching the Beatles, aren't they? And paying no attention to it at all. What's that? Oh, it's a mobile alert, dear boy. Oh, dear. Now have a look at this.
So yeah, they land in London. They turn up a month after the capsule. There's a bit of a timey-wimey thing going on.
Still singing Ticket to Ride, which is yet more timey-wimey because it hasn't been written yet.
But yeah, it's 1941, isn't it? So we're thinking the Doctor, Ian, Barbara, and Vicky, are we?
Yeah.
Yep. And Ian and Barbara immediately get the fear because they remember this. They were alive for this.
Well, exactly. Yeah, this is recent history.
Yeah.
Recent history for both of them.
They get the cold shivers.
I suppose it'd be quite annoying for them because they're back on Earth,
But
like kind of 20 odd years before they left.
I did think I mean, they never do any World War II stories prior to like Curtis Fenric, I don't think.
No.
It's too close, isn't it?
It's too close, I think. Yeah, it'd be like doing a story now set during 9/11.
Yeah.
Which theoretically you could do, but it would seem a bit.
But you wouldn't.
Disrespectful somehow. You wouldn't. Yeah, you wouldn't do it. Yeah.
Was there not a Troughton one that they dropped? Operation Werewolf.
Douglas Camfield pitched it, but I don't think it got anywhere near being. I think he was on spec for the storyline.
Yeah. Obviously, the Doctor doesn't quite realise when he is, and he manages to. He goes into a bar. He breaks in through the back. I'm not quite sure why. I mean, why wouldn't you go in the front door where everyone else is?
Because William Hartnell, he doesn't need front doors. Front doors are for pussies.
So while he's doing that, AN companion gets distracted. And they see a kid up on the roof going, "Mommy."
Well, that's going to be Vicky, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be
Vicky. Yeah.
Or is this going to be Vicky and Barbara?
Maybe it would be. Yeah, that's probably more like they split it along those lines, isn't it?
We've now got 3 companions to give the job of one. We
Mm-hmm.
can't all be standing flirting around with Stephen Taylor on a spaceship short. Certainly not Ian.
Yeah,
Ian's just going to punch him.
Yeah, I can see some problems with this. Yeah.
All
right, now let's do that one. Yeah, so the Doctor and the Ian go in the bar and have presumably a lengthy conversation with someone. And then
the Doctor does, while Ian just has a pint.
Yeah. Ian just goes straight to the bar and goes, "Beer! Oh my God!" And then realizes he hasn't got any money.
Ian's parched. Yeah.
Ian hasn't had a beer he says in the chase he wants a pint of beer, so he gets one right. First 5 minutes of episode 1, or first 15 minutes if we're doing the time space visualizer.
Yeah.
Which I think we should.
Yeah, we're most of the way into episode 1 by that point.
Yeah. By the time any story kicks off, so good.
While they're in there, Vicky and Barbara are getting into trouble on the roof.
Yep.
Yeah.
They can see this child, and then, well, at least I assume probably Vicky will somehow end up climbing up a barrage balloon and floating away.
I think they both do.
I can picture how they would do this in those days. I've got this picture in my mind of them shot from the waist up, just kind of holding a rope above their heads going, "Oh," and then you cut to like a really sort of over-ambitious special effects shot of a kind of model barrage balloon with these 2 little dolls hanging. And some jaunty music.
I've got a feeling they wouldn't attempt it.
I'm hoping for Ealing Studios. I'm hoping for Ealing Studios and at least kind of the bottom chunk of a balloon built.
Yeah, maybe you could do it as a sort of foggy background. Ealing, you could.
It's definitely a foggy background. Foggy background, or a back projection of like clouds and stuff like that, or you've got searchlights going on to sell it as well potentially.
A bit of stock footage of some airplanes flying over London.
Having said that, it's Richard Martin, so it's going to be Paul's version. Ding, 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 as they go.
It could even be like a cardboard cutout, couldn't it?
It could be a cardboard cutout, yeah. Well, since the TARDIS of the Chula capsule would have been at the very beginning, then
yeah. So that's a bit unfortunate, yeah. But the Doctor's in the bar, and he steps up to the microphone and asks everyone if anything's fallen from the sky recently. cue hilarity because this is World War II.
Why are you laughing?
How dare you,
This is
sir?
not amusing.
Asking a perfectly serious question.
And Ian clocks all the posters and goes, no, I get it.
Yeah. Ian has to
Explains
talk
it
him
to
down.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're probably running up to probably the first cliffhanger at this point.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Vicky hanging from a balloon. Vicky
Mhm.
and Barbara possibly hanging from a balloon.
Definitely Barbara. Let's lock Barbara down.
And then air raid starts.
Otherwise, we have a floating Barbara, and we do not need that at this point in the plot.
So the air raid starts. Cue
Yeah.
titles, I would say.
Mhm.
Yeah. So what was that episode called?
Wow, we made it to the end of episode 1.
Yeah.
Episode 2 would just be called Air Raid or something, wouldn't it?
It
Air
will be
raid,
called
yeah.
Air Raid.
Yeah.
Episode one is called The Empty Child.
Yeah. Which isn't in it.
Yes, it is.
Well, briefly, but you don't know it's
What
empty yet.
Vicky and Barbara are going up.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, you may not know he's empty, but Richard Martin had a big close-up of his eyes and things like that.
Ah,
So, hush.
all right.
At least look at the telly, Snap Spaz. Some working.
I remember when this came out and a grainy VHS copy of episode 2 was available.
Yeah.
Happy days.
And Jen, do you remember when we got, I think it was from there was a copy of episode 5 floating around. You could hardly hear what was going on, but it was nice to be listening to it anyway. You know,
Yeah.
that great episode, Nanogene.
I thought it was Volcano Day, but okay.
No, Volcano Day is episode 6.
Oh, is it? Right, okay, yeah.
Well, filling in the titles here. This is great. Look at that.
We're doing quite well. We're banging them out.
Bam.
Yeah.
We've only got like 2, 3, and 4 to do now.
Yeah. No, 2's Air Raid.
Episode 2 will be called The Feast of Stephen because it's the first time that Stephen Taylor, sex pilot extraordinaire, claps eyes on both Vicky and Barbara and a rope.
Episode 2 will be called Excellent Bottoms.
It will. It will not actually. Not in no. Not in no. William Hartnell wouldn't allow excellent bottoms. Yeah, you might have his asses in butter, but you're not having excellent bottoms. By David Whittaker. I was just going to say, mind you, Excellent Bottoms, directed by Richard Martin, is a great thing for the Doctor Who.
So the Doctor and Ian go back to the TARDIS. They're a bit disappointed.
Mhm.
And then the phone starts ringing. There's a phone in the door,
Mhm.
especially installed for this story, which is great. And a young girl called Nancy turns up and tells them not to answer the phone.
Mhm.
So Ian's asking her about that. The Doctor says, "Pfft," and answers the phone anyway. He gets the voice on the other end. Are you my mummy?
Nice big close-up of William Hartnell here, really selling it as well.
Really, yeah.
Yeah,
Sinister moment, isn't it?
It is, and he'll absolutely sell it.
Yeah, giving it some real lapel.
Yeah.
He'll give it all the full lapel. Yeah. He may even narrow his eyes slightly.
Yeah. Excuse me, I'm not your mummy. They decide to pursue Nancy, I guess, or at least one of them does. We're saying both of them pursue Nancy? Ian.
Well, it'll be
pursues
Ian.
Nancy.
It'll be
Yeah.
Ian, and the Doctor will kind of flap a bit and then go after him because,
Yeah.
dear.
Yeah. So, we see some conspicuously fat people going to hide from the air raid in their Anderson shower.
We do.
So it makes us feel a bit better that basically Nancy's stealing, which she is. She's going in, she's nicking the food off the table, and she's sharing it with the local urchins.
Urchins. Yeah.
Urchins.
Yeah. There's probably only about 3 urchins in the Hartnell version.
Yes.
They're sort of conspicuously sort of teenage urchins. They're sort of
Teenage urchins, and
possibly early 20s. Yeah.
There's kind of half an urchin, a corner propped up. It's all they can afford. A couple of photo blow-up urchins stuck at the back, being wobbled a bit by stage hands.
Meanwhile, Barbara and Vicky are suspended over London in an air raid.
Still, yeah.
They've not fallen to their deaths, which
No.
they really should have done by now.
No.
But Stephen Taylor's there, or Captain
Yes.
Stephen.
Yeah,
Spots them.
Stephen Taylor.
Excellent bottoms.
Yes.
He's not saying that.
Well, you see, the thing I was thinking is, obviously, we're not going to get away in the 60s with him being sort of pansexual and whatever. But I was thinking it would be good if
Being sexual.
Yeah, well, no,
True.
I think
Yeah.
he could be like sort of like Leslie Phillips. He could be very
Yeah.
kind of,
Hello. Yeah.
Hello.
I say.
2 of them. Don't mind if I do.
What a conundrum.
What version of Stephen Taylor have you been watching all these years? This at variance with my memory.
Woof, woof.
You've got some really missing episodes. Taylor, despicable years.
So Captain Stephen has got an invisible spaceship. Woo!
Has he? Oh, great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right. That's
yeah. He saves them with his teleport beamish.
His teleport beam. Right. This is going to be like the keys of Marinus. They're going to be dangling from the rope that'll go and they'll appear in Stephen Taylor's spaceship.
Yeah, they do a sort of a cross wipe or something. Yeah. On a black background.
And that's fine. Okay, good.
And he gives them both champagne.
He gives them champagne, and
Champagne.
generally starts being a bit smooth with them.
Mm-hmm.
But he's clever as well. He's noticed that they're not from this time.
Yeah.
Barbara, of course, at this point just flings her champagne down in disgust and goes, seriously, every fucking episode a man's flanging after me. Fuck off, Stephen Taylor. Because she'll be getting sick of it.
That's why she leaves at the end of the episode.
No, it probably is. It probably is. Yeah, it's the problems of Nicola Bryan, but way before. You're just fucking commodifying me.
I can't stay in the TARDIS with him. I'm leaving.
Patriarchal shit.
That's the exciting thing. Nobody in the universe can do what we're doing.
We haven't cast Nancy yet, have we?
No.
I'm thinking she might be slightly older, because I don't think you could get away with the teenage mother thing. She could still be the kid's mother.
Teenage mother thing.
Yeah.
How about Anne Davies from Dalek Invasion of Earth?
Oh, yeah, that'd be quite nice. Yeah, a little tribute to her. She died
Well,
recently.
indeed, yeah. Oh, that was easy.
Or Helen Mirren, obviously.
Well, there's Helen. There's Helen. Would she
probably
totally
be about the right age.
She totally would she be a bit young?
She was born slightly young. She was born like, I don't know, mid-40s, somewhere around there.
Yeah. The thing is, I don't think, although it's got a precedent for the 60s with Kathy Come Home and things like that, I don't think they'd put that sort of thing in.
No, that would be a bit shocking.
Slot, would they? No.
I don't either.
And
it rather undermines the whole story.
Yeah, unless Jamie actually is her brother, which they might be more likely to do. Yeah.
Well, no, you see, I think if you made her slightly older, she could still be his mother, but she's just keeping away from him, not because she's ashamed of him, but just because he's a scary kid with a gas mask face.
So it becomes more a thing of she has to face her fear.
I mean, it's a shame because the whole point of this, the crux of the story is kind of her. She's never admitted to him that she's his mother, and it's that kind of emotional catharsis that comes along with it.
But again, as Paul said, you're not going to get that kind of emotional catharsis in Doctor Who in 1965. It's not what it was doing.
No, it's true.
What you got was leavings. You got the departure of companions and things like that, and you got eventually the departure of doctors. Yeah. But this kind of real life emotion just wasn't really touched on. It's a shame we got this story in the Hartnell era because it does restrict it an awful lot and it does knock a lot of the heart and soul out of it in a way. But we shall persevere.
Well, maybe she is mothering all these other kids a bit more obviously, but not admitting that this child is her child.
Yeah.
Why?
Because as Paul says, she's scared of him. Maybe or they're all he's become something alien and different.
Other.
Yes.
Let's go with that. That works.
Unearthly.
Yeah. Unearthly.
He's an unearthly child.
He is an unearthly child. Episode 2 is the unearthly child. Okay.
No.
No. You know full well that's a Jodie Whittaker story.
Half an hour ago, I was a white-haired Scotsman.
She's got the urchins in this house, and they're all having a nice meal.
I'm so sorry for her. I hope it clears up soon.
She's what?
She's got the urchins. Oh, poor thing.
It's quite painful. She has to keep scratching.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There are emoluments.
Yeah. So they're all sat around the table when I'm assuming Ian probably turns up.
Oh yeah, what's he doing? Is he still with the Doctor?
He's still with the Doctor. Yeah, this is the problem with not having quite enough roles of different companions. Is everyone's just hanging out together. But it would kind of work in the 60s. They'd be having a lot of dialogue together.
Yeah.
They did do that quite a lot. Yeah,
they did.
I mean, he'll be good with kids because he's a teacher, but so he'll be doing basically what Eccleston does.
Yeah.
Hartnell will be just scowling in the background.
Yeah. He'll be getting his cane out and doing all the corporal punishment at least.
Oh, I think he'll be twinkling. I think if we do Hartnell a disservice, he'll be twinkling at the kids and they'll be being mesmerised by him.
Yes.
Yeah.
He'll be being the magician.
Yeah.
Uncle Who.
Uncle Who will be being Uncle
Who. Yeah.
But not in a kind of 70s DJ sort of way.
Oh no.
Yeah. So the doctor takes this opportunity to find out a bit about what's going on. And then obviously the child turns up. Jamie turns up at the front door. Are you there, Mummy? Asking to be let in.
Mm-hmm.
And the kids all run out the back.
Mm-hmm.
And Nancy tells the doctor in the end, don't let him touch you.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they will. Maybe that's kind of maybe getting near the end of episode 2, actually.
Yeah.
So this is going to have to be some genuine brat of acting.
Mm-hmm.
Genuinely wearing a gas mask that's kind of it's going to be gauze behind the thing, isn't it? So you just can't see anything like the Cybermen. So you may occasionally get a gleam of eye. But poor thing's kind of locked into that for the recording.
Yeah. It's definite cruelty. Yeah.
Unfortunately, this is 1965, so you can do that.
I take it off. No, leave it on.
No! How dare you, child?
So the doctor decides to let him in, which Ian's not happy about.
Yeah.
I can totally visualize that. Totally see that scene. Yeah.
Meanwhile, as I say, Jack he's kind of realised that Vicky and Barbara are not of this time. He thinks they're time agents, and he's trying to sell them a Tudor warship that's dropped on London. Mm-hmm. And again, I can really see this sort of Barbara's going to be there going, no, we're not. And Vicky's like, shush.
Yeah. Vicky will be going, okay, should be doing a space museum bit, just taking control. Mm-hmm. And then I think that let's allow Barbara a bit as well, because Barbara's very good at that in Dalek Invasion of Earth, where she just starts spieling off stuff to the Daleks to distract them. Mm-hmm. I think after a moment of initial confusion, how about going along with it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're probably not going to have Big Ben in this version, really, are we? That would be probably a step too far.
This is all happening inside the spaceship.
Sadly, I'm afraid it is.
This is on that one set. Yep.
Yeah.
Because we ain't got the space in the studio for much else for a start, anyway.
No. Stephen realizes they've got rope burns on their hands, and he fixes them with nanogenes. Now, we're not sure they thought of nanogenes in 1965.
Well, I did a little bit of research, and Arthur C. Clarke did a story called The Next Tenants, or The New Tenants, in 1956, which sort of purported the idea of sort of microscopic sort of medical robots.
Excellent.
And I think Professor Richard Feynman was doing talks and things about it by the end of the 50s. So it's kind of in the air. I don't think it would be fantastically well known, but I think it was.
It'd be a bit obscure, yeah.
They are, but if they've gone back to the tenets laid down by Braben and Frick, then they are indeed looking for real
Braben and Frick.
Braben and Frick. Then they're looking for real science type stuff. So let's say whoever wrote this, it's not. It's a
bit before its time, but Kit Pedler probably would have heard of that sort of thing.
Kit Pedler may have heard of it.
It's a bit of a stretch. I'm sure they didn't come up with the stuff like the grey goo problem until the 90s and stuff like that.
But let's say there's a Kit Pedler type has been involved.
Yeah, it'd have to be, really. I mean, in the Hartnell era, nobody really knows about science, do they? I mean, the best they've got is Terry Nation, really. And, it's a bit concerning.
These things, if necessary, can run on Mercury. We can make allowances.
Yes.
It's not a problem.
The curing properties of Mercury.
And I bet the doctor can control him with the magic power of his ring.
Yes.
Yes, I bet you can. Yes.
Excellent bottom.
No one's saying that in this.
We're saying it. A lot. Probably too much.
How about Time Ram?
Time Ram? You couldn't do it in that old crock.
Woof. Time Ram. Londoners.
He's going to sell them this Tudor spaceship, this Tudor warship, but it's about to get bombed by the Germans in I don't. Does this all take place in a few hours? It seems like the second air raid of the night. It's going to get bombed in a few hours. Yeah.
Well, it is the Blitz, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but yeah, I don't know. The Blitz would have an air raid that went on for like half an hour and then started again 2 hours later. It just seems maybe I don't know. But,
It's fiction.
yeah. So we cut back to the Doctor and Ian in the house. The kid vanishes, so they're okay. Are we on episode 3 right now? We might be.
I think the end of episode 2 was when they opened the door to the kid, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think
Doctor
so.
said they're going to let him in. The kid sort of slowly advances towards, and Hartnell comes up towards the camera, and yeah.
Yeah. That sounds good. Yeah.
All
So,
that nice. This happens.
yeah. So yeah, we're in episode 3. What's episode 3 called?
Bananas.
Constant Doctor or something like that, maybe.
Yeah.
We'll think of something.
I can't think of anything that's going to happen in the foreseeable.
Plague.
The Doctor's been speaking to Nancy. He knows that she had
Injurious plague.
injury as plague. That's right. The Doctor's been speaking to Nancy. Has talked about her little brother Jamie, who was killed in a bombing raid, and she sends him to see Dr. Constantine at Albion Hospital, and then she goes back for more food. So I guess Ian probably breaks in for him. Ian a bit incurious about what's happened to Barbara and Vicky at this point.
Yeah, Ian's going to be worrying by now.
He's going to be worrying. He really is.
He's going to be havering about them because he always does.
Yeah.
And he's usually right.
Yeah. To be fair, yeah. They break into this hospital. We get some nice sort of atmospheric scenes of the wandering through hospital wards, and there's patients. Maybe only 3 of them, but there's patients in sort of beds.
Well, we would have done, yes, but like I said before, Richard Martin.
Yeah. So he's going to be walking through some brightly lit wards with maybe 1 or 2 patients lying on beds with gas masks on.
Who are bumping into the cameras even while lying there.
Looking a bit unconvincing, frankly.
Yeah.
That's where we meet Dr. Constantine, who's perhaps our big guest star for this episode. Who's this?
Yeah.
The older actor, isn't it?
Older actor, yeah.
Who's the guy who played Maigret? Rupert someone. They're both completely nonplussed at me, listener.
Yeah, no idea. No. Shall I look it up? Maigret. Rupert Davies?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Or Jack Warner in full-on Dixon and Doug Green.
Jack Warner. Let's have Jack Warner.
George Coloris, who played Arbitan. He'd be an option.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably more likely than Jack Warner, to be honest, because he's probably already, he will be already a Dixon and Doug Green by this point.
Okay, let's have George Coloris. How do you pronounce his name?
Coloris. Check out Maigret.
Coloris.
Okay. Dr. Constantine gives us some background information. He tells the doctor to examine the guys in gas masks, but don't touch the flesh. And they all have the same injuries, and their gas masks appear to be welded to their faces.
Now, this could actually all be, I'm taking the piss out of Richard Martin, but he does actually pull it off sometimes. This could actually all be really atmospheric and scary in black and white. This could be really effective.
If he's interested, he could do it well, yeah. I suppose the question is, by the chase, was he interested?
well, I think he was kind of destroyed by the web planet. Now, he may not have had the web planet. The web planet, probably Sylvester McCoy again.
Yeah.
So let's say
maybe he was doing the Ark in space instead. So no, he's relatively fresh.
Yeah. Let's give him benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. All these guys, they weren't injured. They've caught injuries as disease. They caught it from the boy. This is where the boy was brought, basically dead after a bomb fell on him. But then he came back to life, and then they've all taken on these injuries. They've all got the sort of hollowed out inside. So, perhaps a little bit horrific for 1965, but that's what happens.
You probably wouldn't say anything close up. I mean, you'd probably get.
You might just imply it, maybe.
Yeah, you wouldn't even see the gas mask sort of welded the face. You would have the doctor describing it. He'd be pointing with his stick and going, see how the mask is. Blah, blah, blah.
Well, maybe have a shot of Ian reacting in horror, and that's as close as you get to seeing it.
There's no reason why they couldn't build a hollow head prop with the gas mask on the front and shoot that on film, so you could have cutaways of close-ups where you can see inside it. And you cut to the film version, and then back. It's like the Medusa in the Mind Robber. You cut to the animated version, and then you come back to the studio, and it's Sue Pulford standing there in I
think a bigger question is whether they do that kind of body horror in 1965 at tea time.
There is that. There is
Yeah.
that. The Cybermen are fairly horrific in that sort of. I mean, it's the nearest thing I can think. The first Cybermen.
Constantine is just keeping these guys comfortable. They just lie in their beds all the time.
And he's being really animated about it as well. I love George Clooney in the Keys Mariners. If you find a board of here, then destroy the keys.
Yeah.
He's like that. It is plague.
He's got a great line where he talks about how he used to be a father and a grandfather.
Oh yeah, that's lovely.
And now he's neither.
Yeah.
And then you see this shot of the doctor, and he's kind of going, "Yeah, I'm with you, man."
Which will be lovely after we've lost Susan at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, absolutely.
In Dragonfire.
Yeah. Yeah. She sailed off with Sablon Blitz.
Absolutely.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Fate worse than death.
Thank you, Doctor.
They get told to visit room 802, which is where they kept the boy. And then Stephen turns up with Vicky and Barbara, which is lovely.
Yeah. Everyone goes, hooray, hooray, hooray. And Ian's going, all right, who's this then? Who's this? Hey, come here. Hey, you, bollocks. Get off.
Yeah. Well, it's not great because Stephen admits that he's a con man. It's a self-cleaning con.
He does, yes.
Yes, the Tudor warship isn't a warship, but it's an ambulance. And he emptied it out. It's got nothing in it, but it's going to get bombed.
Hartnell's right in the forefront of this scene. Quietly, he's just giving it all the stuff, all the face acting. He's just thinking, you see the doctor taking it over.
He'd also be given his disapproval, though, wouldn't he? He was like, oh.
He would. This is where your greed has got you, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's going to let him off for the moment because they've got work to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But they get interrupted. In the meantime, we're kind of cutting back to the house when Nancy's gone back to get some food and she's being stalked by Jamie. Jamie's came in, the little boy. And then when he finds her, all the patients sit up and they advance on the doctor and his many, many friends. And that's the end of episode 3, I would guess.
Is the boy being voiced by Peter Hawkins? I think he should be.
Probably.
I think it'd be quite scary.
They wouldn't let him voice himself. Yeah.
Okay, so the end of episode 3 is the end of episode 1 then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, I'll go with that.
Yeah. I think that works.
Yeah. I think that would be either Peter Hawkins or one of those kind of a sort of grown woman doing a child's voice that you used to get a lot in kids programs.
Roberta Lee.
Yeah.
Or Sylvia Anderson.
So it's a shame they couldn't get the same child actor back for episode 4. He clearly looks different, but actually, no, he's wearing a gas mask. It doesn't matter. 5 different kids playing this lad. And Hartnell saves them all. He says, "Go to your old room, boy."
Yeah, and this is a classic Hartnell moment. This is one that always gets used in clip shows. Because it survives because it's part of season 2. It's a defining first Doctor moment.
Clutches his lapels and he's like,
I can really see that.
And then explains it all to them all who are just standing around going marvelous, etc. Well, Ian's going marvelous because Ian says marvelous about everything.
Yeah, he's impressed. Yeah, so he has a bit of a go at Captain Stephen. Tells him it's Volcano Day. This is a reference to Stephen had a previous con set in Pompeii.
Yeah, this is like him shouting at the monk, never meddle in time and all that sort of bit.
Yeah.
Don't you know what you're doing? Oh, you're still wet behind the ears.
You'd be giving it the full moral force. Yeah, they go to room 802. Stephen's got a squareness gun. I'm not sure he would have a squareness gun.
He'd have a gun. He'd have a laser gun. He'd have a laser.
Yeah.
He'd have one of those ones that they built like 20 of for the Space Museum and kept using them again and again throughout the rest of the Hartnell era. He'd have one of them.
Yeah.
He'd have a Shawcraft special.
He burns the lock out very slowly. You kind of see the line of flame going around it.
Much quicker. No. It goes whee, and there's a kind of flash as the camera overloads because there's a flash bulb inside, and the locks just push the door. Good.
So they go inside room 82. It's a child's room. There's drawings on the wall, pictures of Jamie and his mum, and there's recordings. There's recordings on a reel-to-reel, which is actually would be the same as in 1941. It's absolutely right. And you hear the boy's voice asking where his mummy is. Meanwhile, back at the house, Mr. Lloyd, fat guy, comes back in and catches Nancy nicking his dinner. This is problematic.
Yeah.
So blackmails him into giving him all his food and some wire cutters because he's having an affair with the butcher, not his missus.
Yeah. And we can't even make it that he's having an affair with the butcher's missus either. He's just not having an affair at all.
He's just not. No.
Maybe he just does a runner.
Maybe he's actually working on the black market.
I was going to say black market. He's a bit of a private walker. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, he's a shady. Yeah.
That's a nice, easy, non-sexual way around that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, right. It's
excellent.
All 965.
Well, it's going to happen.
Yeah, basically, yeah. The doctor realizes that the kid is amazingly powerful.
Yep.
He comes to this conclusion, and then he sent them to his room, which is where they are.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, they have that great scene in the original where they realize that the recording stopped.
Yep.
But the kid, they can still hear the kid's voice.
Yeah.
Very Moffat trick. He pulls this trick off quite a lot.
Yep.
But it's good. It's effective. It's one of the first times he used it. So
I can totally see it happening in the 60s as well. It's quite a 60s trope too.
Is this too soon to be the end of episode 4? Because it's a good cliffhanger.
It could be the end of episode 4.
It's too soon. We haven't had enough.
Yeah. It's a shame because it is a good cliffhanger.
It is.
Maybe they would do more mucking around doing other stuff. I'm not quite sure what.
Yeah.
There's not. No, that's not. This is not an episode 4 yet. Nothing has happened yet. Well, little has happened. No, sorry. It's a good cliffhanger, but it can't happen yet. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Good.
To be fair, there is less plot in episode 2.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, I mean they did underrun at the time, which is why we have an entire scene that goes nowhere. But I'll get to that.
Yes. That's not at all 60s.
So yeah, the kid comes in, but they escape using the gun to kind of do they shoot the floor out or the wall or something, and they get away.
Well, it's going to be the wall, isn't it? It's not going to be the floor this time.
Yeah, it's going to be a wall.
We'd be lucky if it's the I think if it's disintegrated, it'll flare to white and then it'll not be there anymore.
Yeah.
And they'll run away. Which I suppose does beg the question of why didn't you just shoot the child? Is that explained in the Eccleston dose?
Not really. Apart from, would you really shoot a child? Or, I mean, it is meant to be an incredibly powerful child. He's got all the power of the Tudor Warriors.
Incredibly powerful corpse.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But it was already a corpse. Well, to be fair, if they did shoot him, the nanogenes would just repair him again and he'd keep on coming. So.
It depends how much you shoot. I mean, if you shoot the nanogenes too, then there's. I mean, if you just disintegrate it, then
you can't shoot the nanogenes because there's millions of them. So that
you can shoot the nanogenes. Yeah, but if you disintegrate the child, there's nothing for the nanogenes to rebuild from, is there? So they just don't bother. They go, oh well, I'll go and do something else because there's now there.
You've got 2.5 more episodes to fill. You can't shoot the main protagonist.
I'm not saying it works. How are we representing the nanogenes?
Glow?
The glow.
You know those kind of effects they did where everybody's standing on one side of the screen, the other side of the screen is black and something is happening against the black. It'd be like that. There'd be some lights moving around on a completely black bit.
Well, it'll be like the Megara. It'll be like the Megara, won't it?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Inlaid. It'll be like the Megara, but inlaid.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm down with that.
My entire understanding of physical space has been transformed.
Good. So yeah, we have a lengthy chase scene through the hospital. That's why this episode is called Hospital of Death.
Yes.
And then they end up trapped in a storeroom, and then Stephen indeed teleports out of there, leaving them to it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is kind of the point, as I say, we get a really nice scene in the episode with a typewriter. Which is, very good, but it is just padding. It goes nowhere. It adds nothing.
So we're going to need that. That's going to go for twice as long. Good.
It's just quite a just sinister little gag with the typewriter. That's all there is to it. Yeah.
What's all that business with the banana where he swaps the gun for a banana and all?
Yeah. Well, this gun was made at the Weapon Groves of Villengard. Yeah. And the doctor says, "Yeah, I went there once." And then Jack says, "There's nothing there now. It's just bananas." It's just a banana grove. Yes, like I said once. It's really nice.
Etc. Yeah.
Well, my boy, do you understand now?
I'm a banana.
Bananas are good.
I've never understood why people go on about bananas being such a great source of potassium. There's as much potassium in an orange than there is in a banana, and there's far more in a potato.
You heard it here first, folks. You're
Yeah,
listening
Potatoes are
to
good.
Potato Facts.
An interesting but not funny fact.
Yeah, but what other Doctor Who podcast gives you useful dietary information like that? If you've got a potassium shortage, get some spud down you,
Get some potatoes.
listener.
They're
Yeah.
full of starch, but you know.
Next
Kind of
week on
everything.
Potato Facts podcast, we'll be talking about the best way to skin them.
I think we should do an episode of that for Patreon. Let's do just one episode of Potato Facts.
I used to have a toy Centauran that I made myself when I was a kid, which was an action man with an actual half a potato stuck on his head stump.
You see, this is the sort of thing we could do in Potato Facts. It writes itself.
So after about 6 months, your Centauran becomes utterly horrific.
Yeah,
This
he
is
was
gonna-
a wizard by the end.
This is Centauran from the Two Doctors.
He ended up as Derek Deadman.
Boy, Derek Deadman.
What in the name of sanity have you got on your head?
It's a fez. I wear a fez now. Fezzes are cool.
So yeah, they're a bit trapped. They're stuck in a
Yes.
storeroom, and everyone in the hospital is coming after them now.
Yes.
We might be veering towards the end of an episode at this point, I think.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, the Doctor's
Yeah.
trying to resonate concrete with its sonic
Trying to
screwdriver.
resonate concrete, yeah.
So Hartnell invented the sonic screwdriver then.
Mm,
He's just hitting it with his stick.
yeah, probably having about as much effect.
Break!
If Arnold's raging, they're through that wall, they're out, they're fine.
Vicky's saying, "Doctor, come and have a dance." He's like, "I'm hitting concrete with a stick."
Why is Vicky saying, can we have a dance? Yeah, maybe Ian and Barbara are having a dance because this is their last story after all. Somehow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
What part of hitting concrete with a stick don't you understand, child?
Yeah, and so they're having a dance. Maybe they're kind of looking meaningfully into each other's eyes, and that kind of, we should have said this to each other a long time ago.
Yeah. Ian's just doing his Ian dancing thing with one hand.
Ian's doing it, yeah. Excellent.
Barbara's there going, for God's sake.
So this is a surreal scene. This is very in keeping with the chase. This is one of those kind of, I don't know why any of the characters are doing any of the things they're doing in this scene. But hey, I'm down with it. Yeah. Bang, bang, bang from Harlan in the corner, and Ian giving it that, and Barbara waltzing around it, and Vicky just going, I'm too good for this. I should be in the RSC.
This is about as much as happens in the episode 5 of the chase. So
Yes.
It's actually fairly equivalent, yeah.
Yeah. And everyone's coming for them, and then presumably does the door get knocked down?
Yeah. Stephen's obviously playing them some Glenn Miller over his radio
For some reason.
for some reason.
Oh, this is Ticket to Ride.
Maybe. He can hijack radios. It's an important plot point because his spaceship is also a Tudor spaceship.
Yes.
Yeah, Vicky says, well, Barbara says, show me your moves.
Yeah.
And Ian starts doing his hand thing.
Yep. Excellent. And
Barbara
going,
goes across
yes.
into the corner and starts weeping.
Oh, I was thinking Barbara's going, I'd marry a man like that.
She probably would, yeah. The Doctor notices that their injuries have gone. They should have got burn. It's a bit prescient of him, but he realizes they should have burn injuries on their hands.
Yeah.
But you know.
Oh, and he sees that because Ian's hands up in the air like this.
Yeah.
So
So Ian wasn't on the barrage balloon, so it doesn't
Excellent.
work.
So something in this. Oh, shite.
Well, Barbara's joined in as well, obviously.
Barbara's joined in as well.
Maybe
of
Barbara's
that
trying to
dancing.
get the Doctor involved in having a bit of a party before they die, and then he notices.
Yeah. She
Your
grabs him
hands.
by the hand and tries to pull him along, and he goes, "My dear." Yeah, good.
Incidentally, all this hand stuff works great on audio.
You're doing this. Okay. Anyway, yeah, you're right. They all get teleported out. Stephen saves
Not
them.
yet. Can we not have that yet? Because let's have them. The door gets smashed down, and the child goes, "Are you my mummy?" And the credits roll, and then we've got
Ah.
an end of episode there, which we can have now.
This is the Doctor. President High Keeper of the legacy of Rassilon. Defender of the laws of time. Protector of Gallifrey.
So yeah, we're in episode 5, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
What's this episode going to be called? It's going to be called The Unexploded Bomb or something, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The kid and his hordes break in, but then they're teleported out.
Stephen teleports them to safety.
Yeah.
Please God, then it might be like the teleport in Dalek Master Plan. They're all bouncing up and down.
Oh God, yeah.
Actually, with the light flaring on, that looks really quite convincing.
Yeah.
All that bit.
The effect that supposedly Stanley Kubrick came to see in the studio when he was making 2001, and you're thinking, why? Or was that just to look at it and kind of go,
well,
was
it the bit where Katerina's floating in space, where they bounced her on a trampoline and slowed it down? I think.
All the trampoline bouncing was done around the same time.
Yeah. Well, yeah, clearly Peter Purvis and Gene Marshall also bounced on a trampoline on that bit, but Hartnell isn't.
There's speculation about what this actually looked like, because if Katerina's amazing death scene involves her apparently bouncing up and down in slow motion, it's not going to be great. But if what they did was build sort of a bit of the set above hand, and and have them kind of they you do it backwards. They start with a bounce, so they fall up, and then you put that backwards, and they fall away from the camera. Could look quite good.
They must have done something right to get Kubrick's team phoning him up. I mean, Douglas Camper would have been full of ideas, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. So anyway, so weird ass psychedelic 60s transporter.
Yeah.
And then on the ship. So I think possibly this is the point where Stephen tells them that his ship is also Tudor and it's full of nanogenes. Or they wouldn't really call them nanogenes. It's full of these tiny robots, tiny medic robots. Medibots, something like that, yeah.
Medibots.
Yeah. Micro medibots, yeah.
Mercury micro medibots. Minuscules is nice.
Yeah.
Let's have minuscules.
It's full of minuscules, and it's just fixed them up. Yeah.
Excellent.
The Doctor's going, meanwhile, Nancy's breaking into the bomb site, which is kind of the big set for this episode.
Yeah.
We haven't seen it before, but it's quite good. There's got some barbed wire there, and she's kind of cutting her way through. But she gets caught by some soldiers, and she meets Algie, who turned up earlier, who's Stephen's friend. He's also quite a nice bottom.
Oh yeah, excellent bottom. Yeah.
Excellent bottom. And she gets locked up with Jenkins, who's not feeling too good. He's
a less good bottom.
Yeah, it's not good with Jenkins.
Inferior bottom,
and generally just a bit unwell.
Yeah.
And Nancy's somewhat afraid because she realizes that he's about to change.
What's Nancy's bottom like?
Oh, excellent.
Excellent. Oh, good. And Paul's established as excellent. So that's fine. I'm happy.
Everybody in this story has an excellent bottom.
That's what the Doctor says at the end. Everybody
has an excellent bottom.
Just this once, Chesterton. Just this once.
And that was the day Maureen O'Brien decided to leave.
What you need is a jolly good smack bottom.
This is the point where the Doctor and his friends turn up. And Ian goes off to distract Algie. No, that's not going to work. Someone distracts Algie.
Barbara.
Probably Barbara. Yeah.
66 object Barbara.
Or Ian just punches him.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of soldiers around with guns. I think he might be a bit silly of him. But
Barbara. We'll send Barbara.
Yeah, we'll send Barbara. Send her in.
Yeah.
Yeah, she distracts him.
Yes.
Barbara's in the middle of sexing it up with Algie when he calls her mummy.
Yeah, and she backs away going, "Oh, dear."
Yeah.
That's really not what anyone wants to hear.
And Donald Baverstock comes in and going, "Omit on that bit of script," because it reminds him of his home life. I don't know that about Donald Baverstock. All right, that was purely surreal speculation for joke purposes. I'm not trying to imply that Donald Baverstock had a mother fixation that he played out at home, presumably with his wife or prostitutes.
Well, it's out there now, so yeah.
So was he.
Oh, Donald.
Trouble is, I've heard that the Baverstock estate is extremely litigious.
Yeah, they're almost as bad as the Michael Jackson estate. They're right up there. That was fucking Jackson, Raymond and Frick. You've got a problem if you can find them. Anyway, yes, we should get back to the story.
We should really. So Algie changes. He grows a gas mask out of his face. That's not going to happen.
It's going to be a dissolve. It's going to dissolve.
Yeah.
Dissolve. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
With kind of harp music.
Yeah, they're not going for the bone crunching sounds.
Well, actually, it's Dudley Simpson, isn't it? Doing chase type music, so it's quite jaunty. You know,
Right.
it's kind of change. His face has changed again. Ba, bam, bam. And now he's a gas mask thing. He's gonna fuck you up. Ding, 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 ding. What?
No, that's quite an accurate rendition.
Do lyrics like that not go through your head whenever you watch The Chase? I know they do in mine.
Yeah.
It's the Indians in this one. And these strange fishy people played by Hugh Bennett and someone else that I can't remember. Any of that usable? Probably not.
Any of this been usable?
No, I think for a Christmas special we should do our kind of chase-based jingles.
Dear. So Algie changes into a gas mask person.
Yes.
Which, if I recall correctly, freaks the soldiers out quite a bit, and then from then on, they were kind of on side. Or maybe they ran away. I'm not quite sure. They kind of disappeared from the story.
There's two soldiers.
There's two soldiers, yeah.
But they're on side. It's all good.
They're on side. And then Ian's able to rush in and save Nancy from Jenkins, who is also a gas mask person. And she's kind of sung him to sleep, which is a great little touch. And then they go and have a look at Stephen's capsule, which is, I knew you were going to, I just knew it, which is empty. He's got an empty capsule.
Happens to us all.
And
oh, Stephen.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Only Stephen. He's been there a while, bless him.
You know, he's kind of spread his nanogenes everywhere, and now his capsule's empty. So,
right.
What do we call them?
Minuscules.
Minuscules. That was it. He spread his minuscules. Yeah. Unfortunately, all this dicking around with it wakes it up, and all the gas mask people come up and they start coming for them.
Does Hartnell say that? I think Hartnell should say that in a missed line. So all this dicking around with it.
In one of his fluffs. So
yeah. And it's late at night, you know, Richard Marsden just goes, just carry on, just keep going, just keep going.
Which reminds
Is this
me
the end of episode 5 then?
I don't think we're getting to the end of episode 5, yeah.
Oh, we better be. We should be.
I think we should be.
Now,
yeah. I think it's a good cliffhanger with all the gas mask people coming for them, and
it starts off, and the dicking around happens, and it's right. Good.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Right.
Good.
Episode 6 then.
Episode 6. Yay. So they're all coming for them. The doctor explains that the minuscules have escaped from the capsule when it crashed. And this is what's caused all the problems. So they found Jamie, a very damaged young boy, brought him back to life, and then got confused and didn't realize that's what humans look like. So it's been converting everyone else. So the only solution is to find Jamie's mother. Yeah.
Or to find Jamie's similar DNA person.
Yeah, Jamie's similar DNA person.
Yeah.
It turns out to be his third cousin, Nancy.
Right. Or it could be Barbara. You know, it could randomly be Barbara because Barbara is the daughter. And then Tomek Bork can turn up dangling from the rope.
It is the mother you hate.
Yeah. Because I miss Tomek Bork. You know,
Tomek Bork.
He ain't been around for a while.
Is he going to get tied to Tomek Bork?
Well, there's ropes. I think Tomek Bork's dangling from a balloon.
Yeah.
When there are ropes involved, then there will be Tomek Bork.
The bombs are going to drop soon. Stephen disappears. But to cure Jamie, Barbara just has to tell him that she's his daughter.
Oh, we are actually going with the... Okay, right. Sorry, I wasn't serious about Barbara, but...
Oh, good. No, I'm pleased. I'm relieved, actually. No, fine. So, Nancy's his mother. Her husband is off fighting the war somewhere.
Yes.
And she is actually Jamie's mother. And she's happily married to Andrew Ring. It's all fine.
Yeah, it's all good. Everything's, as it should be, and right under the sight of God.
Nothing to worry about.
He's a foreigner.
No.
Just to annoy Hartnell.
So yes, Hartnell, in a touching scene, convinces her to tell Jamie that she is his mummy because he's forgotten. And
it's like the massacre. He's really put the work in. He's spot on, you know.
Yeah. No, I can imagine a really good sort of Hartnell speech here. Yeah.
This has got a lot of good moments for Hartnell, this one.
Yeah, it has actually. Yeah.
It's very good for the Doctor, this story.
Yeah. And the minuscules, they figure it out. The little boy's back. He's all right. They take the gas mask off. He's all right. Everybody else is all right.
And Hartnell's going off on one. He's just going completely off on one, like in the Web Planet where he's bonkers.
Everybody lives, my boy.
Yes. Everybody lives. Excellent bottoms all round.
Yeah. And maybe doing a little dance of joy, which is the Doctor dances.
And then they remember the bomb. The bomb's coming down. But then Stephen saves them with the ship.
Yeah.
And everything's fine.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're getting towards the end, really.
You have the what I was saying before about maybe the TARDIS getting fixed by the minuscules. You could have the Doctor realizing that Stephen's going to get blown up in his ship, which is what happens in the original, doesn't he? He has to rescue Jack, so he has to get the TARDIS to work to do his bidding. So he kind of uses the minuscules to fix the TARDIS, and from thenceforth he can fly.
It occurred to me that you perhaps don't even need to put the ship in danger. Maybe the Doctor says, all right, young Stephen, so you can't be trusted with this. And then Ian persuades him to let him and Barbara use the ship to get back home.
Yes, and the ending for them is essentially exactly the same as the
Barbara, we made it. I can't believe it. London 1965.
So actually, from this point, from Everybody Lives, basically, it then becomes the end of the chase.
You could just do it virtually the same,
The Doctor having a right paddy at them for leaving because he's really upset. But Vicky talking him into it, and them getting into Stephen's ship, which Stephen gives to them, apparently.
Maybe he confiscates it because he won't let me accommodate.
He confiscates it, so Stephen's stuck there with the Doctor, and Stephen,
well, maybe they have to dispose of all the tuna technology, so the Doctor sets the ship to destroy itself.
It's going to destruct. And that's Ian and Barbara's job. And you can trust them to do it. And it's really touching.
I think we should still end with the scene in the TARDIS, and we should have the Doctor dancing. But I can see Hartnell doing one of those kind of very sort of loose-limbed jazz dances from the 20s. So you think I can't dance, eh? And then he suddenly goes off on one of it.
So this episode presumably is the Doctor dances. This will be the Doctor.
Yeah,
absolutely good.
Hartnell wants to expand a bit. He wants
to
some
shapes.
Increase his range.
Right.
So he does a wacky 1920s dance.
This is a bit of a Charleston.
Maybe he does Susan's dance from Unearthly Child. So it's kind of like, it's a Time Lord thing.
I just want the last 5 minutes of this episode to be them Charlestoning way in the TARDIS.
Yes, that'd be fantastic. Ensplenment.
Do we want to do an ensplenment?
I'll enspleen anything.
Yeah.
Explain the hell out of it.
So is it better or worse than the original? I mean, it's so completely different that you can't go. And the original's great. I mean, the original's one of the top Doctor Who stories, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Child Doctor dances. It's a standout in a standout season.
It's hard to improve on it. I'm not sure that we have improved on it.
No.
I don't think it'd be better, but I think it would be a fairly strong Hartnell story.
Absolutely.
It kind of works. There's various ideas and concepts in there which you can't really imagine doing in 1965. But
Richard Martin's going to give it a try.
Richard Martin's going to give it a try, and the basic plot is sound. It's
very sound and very good.
It's all good.
And there's and a lot of it is scenes, little claustrophobic scenes with a few people talking. The sets are going to be smaller. It's not going to be as expansive. There's less running around, but there's nothing. A lot of it you just translate straight over. And because it's all set in the 1940s, well, they were building sets set in the 1940s and the 60s. Of course they were. So it's nothing that can't be done. Should we spin the numbers, chaps?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Our Doctor is.
What? If it's Sylvester McCoy,
the ever popular Sylvester McCoy.
Grade
Hey,
I'm using my grade.
you're using your grade, right? John Pertwee.
John Perry. That's all right.
Hey,
Yeah.
he deserves a decent, a proper story that you
Proper
actually
story. I wish we could get something like Eccleston or something at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the story is 270.
270. Oh my god.
The fuck is that?
It's quite late.
Yeah.
Right, 270 is. Right, so we have. Fuck me. Okay, we have John Perry appearing in Extremis.
Oh,
Shit. What? Oh, okay.
Yeah, Extremis, which, if you're not quite sure, which I don't blame you for,
Capaldi,
is
isn't it?
it's
Yeah, but it's like-
Capaldi. It's in the middle of that kind of three-parter, in the middle of
It's-
Capaldi's
it's-
final season.
Oh shit!
It's a bastard,
Yes.
actually. Yeah.
Yeah,
Shit.
yeah.
Didn't we make a rule that we were? No, we didn't, did we?
No.
Because otherwise, try and right. Okay. Shit. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it's that one with kind of Vatican gubbins running around. I
I
think.
love the arc they did with those monks, starting in the Hartnell era, continuing in Pertwee, finishing it in McCoy probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was impressive.
And telling it in the wrong order. That was clever
Or
as well.
vice versa, yeah.
Time, yeah, because time.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good television. That.
So yeah.
Um,
Uh,
well,
it's a good man goes to war all over again.
Yeah, I'm
it
afraid
might
so.
just be, yeah.
Yeah.
Possibly not quite that bad, but
It might be.
It's gonna be bad.
It might
Actually,
be that bad.
yeah. Prepare for failure. It's just gonna crash and burn. Right, fair enough. Well, it should be a laugh anyway.
yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to watch that because I can't remember anything about Extremis.
Yeah, it's
Oh, isn't it the one where he regenerates halfway through and then goes, I was lying.
possible. I seem to remember the Vaticans in it. It's lots of stuff.
Oh,
about
that
the
was a
Vatican.
great bit. That was a great bit. Yeah.
Yeah, which
I did love that scene where Bill's kind of talking to her girlfriend and saying it's all right. It's not like the Pope's going to come in, and then the Pope comes in.
yeah,
That was beautiful.
Yeah. It's not very pearly, but it's great. Yeah.
It won't be the Pope. All right, it'll be a monk.
It'd be the Dalai Lama.
It'll be the Dalai Lama. The Dalai Lama. Yeah, will come in,
Because it's
yeah.
Barry Letts.
Yeah, and it'll actually be the Dalai Lama as well.
Well, played by the actual Dalai Lama.
And the actual Dalai Lama. Yeah.
Personal friend of Barry Letts.
Of Barry Letts, absolutely. Just kind of like, wait. Terrence Dix was saying, can we get the Dalai Lama? And Barry Letts goes, a moment. And just speaks through his mind.
He
The
says
Dalai
yes.
Lama. Yeah. Yes, Terrence. We may do that. Sitting cross-legged, like, hovering like Choji.
Okay, so John Pertwee in Extremis. John Pertwee in Extremis. That's
As a week.
what we're doing next time. So yes, join us for that. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Excellent, Adams. You've been listening to Time Ram. If you're a person who likes Twitter, you might want to check #TimeRam or follow one of us excitedly at BazTimeRam or at Rupert Booth or at AllFerry8. We'd like to thank Ben Jones for the music, and we have a Facebook page if you'd like to go there, or a web page at timeram.com. You can send us an email even. Remember emails? You can send us one of them at info@timeram.com, or you can send us a fax or by carrier pigeon. We probably won't receive any of them. If you want to support this program, you can do so on patreon.com, or you can support us physically by just holding us as we're about to fall down, and we're about to fall down quite a lot because we're very old. Another way to support the show is to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you download your podcasts from, if you're that kind of person. So join us again next time.
So, I mean, I don't know if we're saving this for a separate Patreon, but what do we all think about what the fuck's going on with Doctor Who at the moment?
Yeah, it's
What the fuck's going on, man?
so yeah, Catherine Tate's coming back.
David Tennant.
Yeah, I think there'll be others. Definitely. I think this is just the beginning. It's just a trickle of information.
But isn't it kind of like, I mean, I know RTD's trying to reestablish it back to like fame and glory again.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a slap in the face to Whittaker, isn't it? To kind of go, yeah, you've done so well. We just thought we'd bring David Tennant back really quickly.
They did a poll about which doctors they wanted to come back, and obviously of the ones that haven't been confirmed, and Matt Smith's at the top there. And then you get people like Capaldi and Eccleston, and then right at the bottom you've got poor old Jodie Whittaker on 3%.
After William Hartnell.
Yeah. It's all new series doctors, so the other ones don't get a look at.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, that's
Colin Baker's on 0. That'll annoy him. But
Tom Baker is still alive, you know.
Yeah.
A bit of Tom in it. Just kind of creaking up under the Pharos project, going, blimey, that was a really, really fucking long dream. I think I'm just going to hobble back to the TARDIS and turn it to someone else, but God knows what. Anyway, yeah, good. Right. Not that I'm saying we should undo all Doctor Who after Legopolis. It's just, you know, pops into my head.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. It was a lineman for me.
Well, I'd include Sharda. I mean, you know, if
okay.
Sharda.
1979 Sharda, though, not that later Sharda.
Well, Sharda's the last proper Doctor Who story, isn't it? Let's face it. I mean, that's what we're saying.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Although there is an argument, I suppose, to say that could be applied equally to the War Games. Or maybe perhaps
an unearthly child.
Well, it's never been the same since the redid the pilot.
I like the first 2 minutes of the pilot, but everything after that, I just can't. I can't.
And as for not even showing the clearly superior, if technically marred, first version of episode 1 of the Daleks, it's not good enough.
I mean, anything after that proposal document by Alice Frick is just non-canon. So.
Frick off. I can say that as much as I want without anyone having to bleep me, can't I? Excellent. I may adopt Alice Frick as a general term of dismay. Frick it.
Frickin' hell.
Frickin' hell, there you are.
Frickin' hell.
I thought I'd try some of the other writers' names as well, like John Braben. That kind of works as well as the next Peter. Braben.
Yeah.
Braben and Frick.
Yeah. We're almost back on the script editors again. Chris.
Chris, why you doing that, Chris?
No, Chris.
What you need is a jolly good bottom.